Incremental readings. This video is very important. And I hope this changes you once you see it. It's a big deal. Incremental reading is an art, transforming techniques into personal mastery. I won't be able to do this video when I started my YouTube channel. I was still too much of a noob. What I mean by that is that before I was not an artist, in the sense that incremental reading was not an art for me. I created a video. You risk to know when you can call yourself an incremental reader. And that was, that was in January 13, 2023. So next month will be 2 years from that. So incremental reading is an art, and as a heuristic, even though it's not the point of the video, but I use it as a hook, a true incremental reader, a person who truly understands incremental reader, is when you can call yourself an artist. Then, what do you mean by that? Let's start with the beginning. I have like 7 slides. In case you wonder and you reached this video that you were recommended, just to let you know that incremental reading, very high overview, is a technique or a collection of methods or techniques to process information, and you chunk this down into small manageable chunks until you decide what you want to remember into items or flashcards, and then this goes in a dynamic process of spaced repetition. And then Supermemo is a software that implements this method. Nice. So at the end of the day, Supermemo is just a tool, a framework for spaced repetition or incremental reading, which is a big deal, and by the end of 2024, it's just the only one. No one else is doing that. Even if they say they implement incremental reading, they don't. So organizes the learning process, but doesn't guarantee results. Why Supermemo or incremental reading doesn't guarantee results? Because the success depends how you use the tool. It's very easy to misuse spaced repetition, and sadly, most of the people worldwide, most of the people who use spaced repetition are misusing it. That's the sad truth, but not the point of this video. Then what happened is that incremental reading is a collection of techniques. It's just like building blocks, not the final product. It's just a tool for an end, but incremental reading, it's never the end. Supermemo, the tool that implements that, is never the end. It's the tool, the means to the end. Then, incremental reading is highly personal. That's why what I do, what Wozniak does, and someone else does, that you may see on YouTube, is different. That doesn't mean that it's better or worse. It's that it's not for me. Because by trial and error, you will see what works best for you. Using one massive collection or many different collections, you want to use templates or whatever. So you are the artist, and it's you who has to find out and make the learning an art. Supermemo cannot do that for you. Incremental reading cannot do that for you. It's the user, it's you, based on your own process. When you make this click, the tipping point that, hey, now I'm not a regular user or a newbie. Now I really got incremental reading. I have adapted my own style. You know what happens with an artist? Let's say you start drawing. Whatever that is, if it's painting, drawing, a sculpture, paint, any art you may want, dancing, playing an instrument, whatever, is that when you don't have enough knowledge, you don't know your style. You need a lot of knowledge and have automatized a lot of little things that go into your long-term memory. When you achieve that, then you have an opportunity to discover your own style. You know, for instance, Picasso has his own style with paintings. You could argue if that looks like crap or is a masterpiece. I'm not going into that terrain, but he found his own style, right? Then, going back to incremental reading, when you get your own style, that, hey, that's my way of incremental reading, how I do it. In other words, when the art emerges, you start to be an artist. It's when you adapt the techniques creatively to your own goals and learning style or preferences. When I say learning style, I say preference. Please do not go into the territory of kinesthetic, visual. That's a myth. Please research that. I'm not going to spend 5 seconds, more than 5 seconds on that shit. Then, because everyone has unique goals, different preferences, what they do will be unique. Because no one else will have the exact, precise learning styles and preferences. There will be an overlap with people, with friends and so on, yes. But it's a partial overlap. That's why I don't do exactly what Piotr Wozniak recommends. Because for me it doesn't work. It doesn't fit my own style. There's a quote from Winston, a friend of mine and a super power user of Supermemo. He said, eventually, I don't have the timestamp, but years after he started Supermemo, I think my mindset has shifted from a hard worker to an artist. The shift involves viewing, learning, and creative expression. That's massive. Hard worker is that, oh yeah, I have to do the apply template, create concept, control M, all of those hard skills. But once you have automated all of the hard skills, and you only focus on the soft skills, is when you have the opportunity to be an artist. The creative expression and moving beyond rigid techniques, exactly. Then, making incremental reading a learning art. It's not a learning art itself. It's a learning art from the user perspective. This only lives on the user, not by itself, if this makes sense. So how you can make that? How you can become an artist in incremental reading? Experiment with approaches to processing and retaining knowledge, yeah? It's very high level of whatever you can do in incremental reading. First, experiment. An artist will have experiment a lot before seeing what works, what doesn't, and find your own style. So, the keyword, experiment. A lot. Then, refine your system through practice and feedback. Hey, that worked, that doesn't work, I like this, I don't like that. Because sometimes it's just preference. I don't like it. It works. I just don't like it. And then focus on what inspires and motivates you to keep learning. That is extremely personal. I cannot know what it is. I cannot suggest what is, how to move forward, because it's way too open. The key is to focus on that. So whatever that is, that motivates and inspires you, keep doing that. Pursue your learn drive. Experiment, refine, and focus. And that's not that different of what I said from the beginning of this channel from Bruce Lee. That, hey, adapt what works for you. Discard what doesn't work for you. And make your experience your own. I don't need this in the slides because I have memorized that already. It's like an evolution of that. To know what works for you and what doesn't, what you need to do. Experiment. What you discard or keep it, so you make this decision, you are refining your system based on this feedback. And make your experience your own, more or less, is to focus on what inspires you and keep on that. As a consequence, you make it your own. But making it your own is not the goal per se. It's an inedible consequence that you will have, but not the goal. Experiment, refine, and focus. And as a closing thoughts, incremental reading or learning, because usually I say reading because like the copyrighted word, but it's also incremental learning, because incremental audio, incremental brainstorming, incremental video, all of that goes into the learning. So incremental learning is not just about techniques or tools, it's about transformation. Once you understand this, you can call yourself an incremental reader, an incremental learner. You are an artist. Make it your own. Oh my God, I'm still doing this. That's what I would have said before. Make your experience your own. And let your learning journey be a form of self-expression. Because what is art in the in the most abstract perspective, definition, art is a form of self-expression. You will be able to do that when you make it your own, when you what? When you have focused on what inspires you and motivates you. Some quotes to wrap up. Oscar Wilde: art is the most intense mode of individualism that the world has known. Here you go. That is from Leonardo da Vinci. Art is never finished, only abandoned. Oh my God, I will not have done this myself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is just 6 words summary. Incremental reading is never finished. Incremental learning, you never stop learning. You never finish learning. But eventually you decide, okay, I'm not going to go more into detail on this topic. I can have an article, I can add more articles and other materials around that topic, but eventually I will have enough. Or, based on priorities, I will have that I invest in something else that is more high priority. So, it's never finished, it's only abandoned. Or postponed, but postponed to perpetuity is the same thing as abandoned. Oh my God. And one example of mine is Minecraft. That I will start a project, by the way, with Minecraft. When do you decide you know enough with Minecraft? Or you have had enough fun with Minecraft? When do you decide that you have enough learning about health or humanities or cognition? It's an art. You decide when a painting is finished. It's a decision because it's never finished. It's only abandoned. So for me, it's complete. For me. And there's no better artist than yourself. That is a quote of myself. Like, there is no better teacher than yourself. There's no better artist for you than yourself. No one will know how to learn best for you, to your brain, than yourself. You are the artist of yourself. You are painting the learning process of your life. Incremental learning is an art. If you don't consider you're an artist with incremental reading, you haven't gotten what is incremental reading. You have not internalized what incremental reading really is in the high level perspective. Nothing more to add. See you incremental.